Hi you guys, and welcome to my channel. This is my very first YouTube video ever, and I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in to my first video. And if you guys are liking what you see so far, after you watch this video, make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, leave a big thumbs up on any of my videos that you watch, and make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can see whenever I post a new video. I'm going to be posting every week. As of right now, it's going to be on Sundays, and as time goes on, that might change. But for now, we're going to stick to Sundays. But click the notification bell so you guys know exactly when I post a new video. In today's video, I am going to be talking about how I moved pretty much across country, not really cross country, but how I moved from Chicago to Houston by myself, not knowing a soul. Actually, I knew one person, but we weren't super close at the time when I moved. So pretty much I moved out here by myself. I don't have any family. Like I said, I have one friend. I still really don't have friends. Keep that on the lowest key. But like I said, I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know to move by yourself as a young adult. It can be scary and it can be like a really big jump for anyone. So stay tuned and I will give you guys the details about what I did, how I did it, and the whole process, and a big headache. Was it hard? Was it easy? Everything you need to know. I'm going to give you the rundown. So stay tuned and let's jump right into this video. So first things first, choosing a city. If you live anywhere and you feel like, okay, I want to move somewhere else. If you're like me, I have always wanted to move out of Chicago. Main reason being, I hate winter. I don't like it. I don't like snow. I don't like sliding on ice. I don't want no parts of it. So I have always said since I was probably in middle school that I wanted to move to Florida. But anyway, back to the point. Choosing a city. So basically what I did to choose a city, I wanted to move somewhere where it was warm. Now, you might be different. You might not care so much about the climate, but I basically wanted to move to a big city. A big city and a warm city. I was already living in Chicago, so I really only had so many options. Like, I was looking at Orlando. I really love Florida, like I said. I was looking at Orlando. I was looking at Atlanta. I was looking at Houston, Dallas, and I think for a little bit I was looking at Phoenix. So I had like 5 cities. And basically what I did was I started just Google searching different things. Like, what was I looking for? So obviously, as you can see, I'm Black, so the demographics was a big deal for me. I wanted to move somewhere where there was at least a good amount of African Americans that I would be able to, like, you know, connect with and relate with. So like looking at basically the demographics of a city was really important to me. And Phoenix got knocked off the list real early because it didn't have a lot of African Americans when I was looking up the diversity. Obviously, Atlanta has a lot. Houston has a lot. Dallas has a good amount. I think Houston had more. And then Orlando was like kind of up there. So they were all pretty much similar. And then I also looked at cost of living. In Chicago, the cost of living is very high versus in the South, the cost of living is a lot lower. So in the South, I was looking at, okay, I'm going to get a better bang for my buck as a new grad, like trying to make it, having student loans. Like, I want to live somewhere where I'm going to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle and live how I want to live starting out. And then maybe in the future, I can move back to Chicago. Probably won't, but that's a whole other story. So yes, looking at the cost of living, I also looked at the job market. So whatever field you're going into, I think that's a big thing to look at. Look at what the job market is going to look like, where you want to work. Literally, you can Google search whatever you want to be, salary in whatever town you want to go to. So I am an occupational therapist. If you don't know what it is, look it up. I will have probably many videos where I talk about OT, but for now, we're going to move that to a separate video. I'm an occupational therapist. So I looked up occupational therapist salary in Houston, Texas, occupational therapist salary in Orlando, Florida. So I was looking at where I could possibly make the most amount of money. And obviously, when you do that, keep in mind, though, that as a new grad starting out, you're not going to make what it says the average is. Usually going to start a little bit lower. I really got lucky because my job, I started out a lot higher than expected. So that was like a big blessing. And I was like, wow, okay, God really wants me to go because he is saying, look, sis, here's the dollar sign. Here's the money you're looking for. So you need to go ahead and just do it. Also, what I looked up was just like kind of the housing market as far as like apartments, like what is the cost of an apartment, like especially for me. In this video I'm going to talk more about like the apartment search process and like what things I think you should look for when you're looking for an apartment. But like I wanted to know like the price of an apartment that I would want versus the prices of apartments like staying in Chicago versus in another city. So when it came down to it, when it all boiled down, I decided I was going to go to Houston. I ended up being in between Houston and Dallas, and they were like pretty neck and neck. But the reason why I wanted to go to Dallas is more so because I was like, well, when it's like hurricane season, I would rather be in Dallas because Dallas is kind of far from the water. So you're likely not going to get a hurricane there. Or I don't think you will at all. Like if they got a hurricane, I think it would be like so much water that it's like, so that you might just want to get out of Texas. But I ended up going with Houston just because I did know one person, and then it seemed more of like a young city for like my age, like, you know, a millennial age person. Dallas seemed more like for families and like people who have kids and stuff, and I don't have that. So I decided to go ahead and move to Houston. Well, I decided that I was going to look into moving to Houston. So then the next thing that I did was I started looking for jobs. Now, finding a job is like a whole different beast in and of itself. So I'm not going to talk a lot about the actual process of finding a job. If you guys want, I can post a separate video on just like job finding tips, because I actually was really lucky and I was able to find a job within like a month of like my search. So basically I started looking for jobs, I want to say in March, like end of March, early April. And by like beginning of May, I had a job secured. I actually had multiple offers. So if you guys want, I can do a separate video just talking about job searching tips and like what I did. And of course, everybody's process is going to be different. Everybody's field is different, so you never know, but I can do a video talking about that as well. But basically, what I did, like I said, I started looking for jobs around March, April, and I was apprehensive about starting that early because I was still in school and I didn't graduate officially until July. So I was a little apprehensive about looking for jobs, and I was like, jobs are probably going to be like, girl, it's too early. And some jobs were. So I put in, I don't remember exactly how many, but I want to say between 6 to 8 applications. I was like, I'm just going to sit here one day and I'm just going to bust them out. And I did that. And a couple of them were like, you know, when are you looking to start? When are you going to be available? And I was telling them like probably not until August. And some of them were like, no, like we're looking for someone more, you know, quickly. So we'll keep your resume on file, but basically you need to wait. So that was fine. I understood that. But out of all but I want to say I was between 6 and 8 for sure. But out of all of the jobs I applied to, I ended up getting, I think, 3 or 4 interviews. And then I got 2 offers. So I was really happy with that. I was really pleased. Especially as a new grad, because it is a little bit harder to find a job. You don't really have any experience. Most people want you to have some experience, and then as a new grad, like they know it's going to take more to train you and get you ready, because even though you've gone to school and you've done like clinicals, you still don't have the like real life practice and the experience that someone that's more seasoned has. So I was really happy with the 2 offers that I got. And so that was in May, and I accepted my offer. I think I had like 2 weeks or something. Like by the end of May, I had accepted my offer to the job that I'm currently working at. And I knew, okay, in August, I am moving to Houston. Now, keep in mind that I was still in school. So I had a lot going on, and my whole moving process was a lot and like really fast. So you personally don't have to do it that way. Like you can, it's possible, I'm here, but you can take your time and you can plan everything a little bit more in advance. Like if you've already graduated and you want to move, you have a little bit more flexibility with that. But sometimes jobs want you to start right away. But a tip that I want to say is just be upfront. Like when you are interviewing or when you are, like once you get a job, just let them know, like, look, I'm not available to start until this time because I live in a different city. They're going to know that you live in a different city. So keep that in mind. Like, you don't have to just jump and go. Like, you can say, I need a month, I need 2 months, whatever the case may be. My job was very, like, okay with the fact that, oh, you're still in school. Like, we can get you hired, but we know it's going to be a gap. Let me see, March, May, June, July, 3 months. Before you get started. So that's not super long. So like I was like, I can't start till next year, but 3 months is still a decent amount of time. And then I also still had to sit for my boards and pass my boards before I could start working. So that just added an extra layer of stress because it's like, okay, I have a start date in August. I don't finish school. I literally graduated on, like, I officially graduated my program on July 19th and I started working on August 28th. I had literally a month to study for and take my boards. It was stressful, y'all, okay? So like my hot girl summer was not hot, okay? My hot girl summer was cold. But I was setting myself up for hot girl life, so I just had to do what I had to do. Anyway, the next thing I wanted to talk about is when you are looking for a job. Now this is also, like I said, a whole other beast. Negotiate your salary. Do not sell yourself short. Do not think that because you are a new grad, and not everybody watching this might be a new grad, but if you are a new grad or whatever, even if you're not a new grad, negotiate your salary. Like I got 2 offers. And the reason why I ended up negotiating my salary, is because I had gotten 2 offers and I had gotten a higher offer at the other company, but I liked it. I felt just a gut feeling that I was going to like this company more, like that I'm at. And so I basically like, look, I got another offer. Here's what they offered me. Are you able to match? And that wasn't even, I could have been a little more aggressive. I could have said, look, can you beat this? Because if not, I'm going to go with them, basically. But I asked them to match, which is fine. Like, it is what it is. And they matched it. So I was happy with that. And I was like, okay, they seem flexible. They seem willing to work with me. Like, I'm a new grad. I'm already getting more than expected. And now I'm getting a little bit more than expected. So I was really happy with that. But the other thing I want to say is negotiate relocation. If I did not do this. So like I said, the one job that offered me more money also offered me relocation money. It was only like $1,000, but still $1,000 is helpful. And when I went back to my other company to negotiate my salary, I left out the negotiating the relocation because I felt like out of the 2, I would rather have a higher salary. I would rather make more money than to get like $1,000 to move. But really, I should have just gone for the gusto. I should just ask for everything I wanted, and just let the chips lay where they fall where they lay. Whatever, y'all know what I'm trying to say. I should have just gone for it. So no matter like new grad or not, negotiation is key. Like you just have to be confident, know your worth, know that you, just because you're a new grad doesn't mean you cannot make money, does not mean you cannot be putting yourself out there to say, look, I need this from you in order for me to work for this company. And they're either gonna say yes or no. I mean, you don't gotta be rude, it's a way to go about it, but just know that you can negotiate everything you need in a job. But again, whole other video, we can talk about that another time because I don't want to make this video too long because it's already kind of long. The next thing before you move, and before I get into this, I personally feel that you should have a job secure before you move to a new city. Now, it is your personal preference. You might be able to move to a new city without a job. You might have money saved enough where you can hold yourself over. But I personally feel that if you're going to move to a new city, you should have a job at least lined up. Or like a potential job like that, it's like going to be a sure thing, so that when you move, you don't have that stress. You're not like, okay, I'm paying bills and now all of a sudden I don't have a job and I can't get a job, because sometimes the process of finding a job can take longer than expected. So just be prepared for that. And I think before you make the leap, have all your ducks in a row. So the next thing I want to talk about is finding an apartment. So in moving to a different city, obviously you don't know the area. So what I did was I talked to my one friend that I had. I visited, I actually came to Houston in April. And then in June, I actually came back to tour apartments. So basically, when you're looking for an apartment in a different city, like for example, if you are moving to like a big city like Houston, there's different areas of town. Obviously, just like any city, some areas are better than others. Some areas have more to offer in the community. Some areas, you know, maybe a little nicer, a little safer, you know, you never know. So do your research, research into where you want to live, and then narrow your apartment search down like that. Also, look at how far work is. Like, don't try to work over here and live over here. Like, traffic is crazy. Like, traffic in Houston is just like traffic in Chicago. It is the worst. And even here, there are like 6, 7, 8 lane highways and it's still traffic. So I'm really lucky because where I live and where I work is only like a 30-minute drive with traffic. So it's not that bad. And then I also do like home health. So I kind of have like patients in my area. So I really don't have to deal with traffic. But if you are going to a job, like you don't need to live 5 minutes away, but just keep in mind that traffic is a thing. So look for that. I use the apartments.com app to search for apartments. What you can do is you can set it for commute, and you can say, I want to live at least this many minutes, like at max this many minutes away from this address. You can put in your work location. So you can put that in your settings. You can also put in a lot of different filters. So like I personally wanted to live in an apartment that was at least like 800 square feet. And to me, that's still not that big, but it's just me. Like, so keep that in mind. You know, you might not want that. You might want to live in something smaller. You might want to live in something bigger. So you can put in square feet. And then I think make a list. What I did was I made a list of everything that I would want in an apartment as my first apartment that I'm going to be spending my hard-earned money on. Clearly I cannot talk. I made a list of everything I wanted. So like in moving to Houston, when I came to visit my friend, she had a really nice apartment with a balcony and a pool. And I said, these are things that I want. Like in Chicago, it would be different. I might not necessarily want a pool because, I mean, I might want it, but like I might not make that a requirement. Like I wanted an apartment with a pool. I wanted an apartment that had a gym. I wanted an apartment that had free parking. So in Chicago, you will not find anything with free parking. I'm gonna just let you know that right now. In Houston, very easy to find. Parking is not gonna cost you any money. So I put all of that into my search. Oh, big thing. I think that every single person deserves this. In-unit washer and dryer. It is a lifesaver. It is amazing. It is probably the best thing ever. Like obviously I grew up in a house, like my parents have a home, so there's a washer and dryer in there, and you don't think about how much of a luxury that is until you start living on your own. Because when I was doing my master's in Chicago, I had an apartment. There was no in-unit washer and dryer, okay? And it was the worst. It's like, if I want to just throw something in the washer, I cannot. Like, I have to go downstairs. I have to use these washing machines. I have to pay. Like, no. I used to lug my laundry back to the suburbs so I could wash at my parents' house because that's too much. So that was a big thing for me. Had to have an in-unit washer and dryer. So make a list of everything you want, and when you start to search, don't let up just because it's hard to find. Sorry, I heard a noise. I live alone, so I be like, what's going on? Anyway, make a list and put everything in. And then like, see what things you can live without. Like, I really wanted to have a pool, a gym, all of that. The washer and dryer was non-negotiable, had to have it. But like the pool, I was like, okay, if I find something that's really nice that doesn't have a pool, I might be okay with it. But in Houston, most places have a pool, so it really wasn't that hard, you know, to find. Also, when you're looking for your apartment, think about your budget. Look at what they're offering you. Look at what bills you have, what things you have to pay for, and figure out what you're willing to pay. I'm paying a little bit more than I wanted to, but it's still in my budget. Like, it's only a little bit over, so it's fine. But I was trying to pay like a little bit for a lot. So, Yes, and just so you guys know, just because you live in a city where the cost of living is cheaper, that does not mean that the housing is that much cheaper. Like, rent here is still expensive, but in comparison to Chicago, you're gonna get a lot more for what you pay. Like, for what I have now, if I was in Chicago, I would probably be paying at least $2,000 a month. So keep that in mind. I'm not paying $2,000 a month for this, okay? Keep that in mind. So just know you still gonna pay a nice little penny, but you might get more for your money. In places like Houston, Atlanta, anywhere in the South, you're gonna still pay at least $1,000, probably, depending on where you live and what your expectations are, but you're gonna get a lot more. Like, I literally have a pool. I have a nice size apartment. I don't know how many square feet my apartment is. I can do an apartment tour later, a different video, and let you guys know those details. But I have a pool. I have a gym I can just walk to. Like, it's nice. And then the other thing, when you're on apartments.com and you're looking up these apartments, make sure that you actually go and you tour these apartments, because you can get into this space where, like, you see these apartments and you think they're super nice, and then you go and there's nothing like what easily like if you sign a lease online before you see it, it might not be what it looks like in person. Because, like, quick story time, when I came in June with my friend to look at apartments, and I had like a whole Google Doc of different apartments that I wanted to look at. And so we toured, I believe, either 7 or 8 apartments, and like a couple of them I was like, oh, I'm really gonna like this, like, this is really cute. And I got there and it was nothing like the pictures. Like, kind of like the apartment was quick, kind of, but like the apartments just, it wasn't what I expected. So make sure you tour the apartments if you can. Obviously, if you aren't able to go a separate time, then obviously you can't do that, but try your best to go and tour. And then make sure you check before, like, once you decide on an apartment, make sure you check on their website for like specials, because a lot of apartments do have like specials, like different like rent specials. So make sure you check for that, or even ask, like, do you have any specials that you're running on your units, because then you can get like a deal in a cheaper rate. Look for reviews online. So once I decided, like, once I toured, we were in between like 2 apartments that I really liked, and I was like, okay, I need to look at the reviews online. And the other one, so okay, clearly I'm in one of the apartments. The other one that I didn't choose, the reviews were crazy. So they had like a garage, but there was like reviews that people were like stealing people's tires off their cars from the garage. Like, how do you just go and you steal somebody's tires? Like, I was so confused, but whatever. That was that. And then also this lady was like, there was like a huge snake in the stairwell, and like she took a picture of it, and it wasn't like a garden snake, like it was like a snake, like a big one. And I was like, oh no, I don't have time, I don't have the energy. And then for the apartment that I live in, the only bad reviews were like about the leasing agents, and I was like, I could deal with that as long as the apartment is what it is. Like, some people were just saying that the leasing agents are mean. I haven't had a problem with that. So if it's ever just talking about the people that work there, like, kind of take that with a grain of salt. Like, you never know. Like, they might have just had a bad experience, and you know how people are quick to go online and bash people. So just keep that in mind. Look up reviews. And now I'm going to talk about the actual process of moving. So basically what I did, some tips I have for you guys if you are planning on moving to a new city, especially if it's far. So the first thing you want to decide is, are you going to fly or are you going to drive? So if you're like me, I had a car. I mean, I have a car now, but I had a car. And so basically the biggest thing was figuring out, how am I going to get my car from Chicago to Houston? I wanted to drive. I wanted to either rent like a big U-Haul, put my stuff in there and hitch my car to the back, or I wanted to drive my car and hitch a smaller U-Haul onto the back. But that would have entailed like like that was like the cheaper option. I don't remember exactly how much the U-Haul prices were, if I'm being like 100% honest, but that's like an easy, like if you're looking for like U-Haul, you can easily just go on their site and they're very transparent with their prices. And then you can also look on other like moving sites if you want to rent a truck. But that would have, like, if I would have wanted to like hitch a trailer to my car, I would have had to like have them drill, like set up the hitch mount thing, and then you have to figure out like how much weight the trailer is and how much weight you could put in the trailer. It was just like a lot. And then my mom was like, I'm not sitting in a car for 16 hours, so I don't know what to tell you. So basically we decided that we were going to go ahead and ship my car and we were going to fly. So the process of shipping your car, that cost us about $650. So if you want to ship your car, just know it's not going to be super cheap. And then I know somebody else who shipped their car and they paid like around the same time that I shipped my car. They paid around $800. So I think it honestly depends on where you are shipping your car to and from. Anyway, so it was like $650 for us. And basically they say you're not supposed to pack stuff in your car. But I was like, look, I'm moving cross country, so I need to be able to put stuff in the car. And they were like, well, you can put it in there, but we're not liable. I said, that's fine. So I just like packed stuff, like not super valuable things. So like I packed as much as I could in like totes, and I just like put them in my car. You can't have anything above the window line though. So like wherever your window is, you can't have anything above that. So you can put stuff on the seat, but you can't have it too high. My trunk was like full as it could be, and there was stuff in the back seat. And then how I got everything else here is when I came in June, I came with my friend and we flew Southwest. So, you know, when you fly Southwest, you get 2 free bags. So I had 4 full suitcases of stuff that I brought in June. And what I did was I got like a storage. So you know how you can just get like a regular storage unit. I got a storage unit and that was like $20 a month. So let's just round it up to $50 total because I had it for 2 months. It was like probably around $50. And I went like, so we brought everything in suitcases and then we went to like Walmart and got some totes, packed everything up in totes, and I put it in the storage unit. And I had, you know, bought my lock, had my key, so I knew everything was secure. When you're looking up storage, just try to look up a nice one in a nice area so you can trust and know that like everything's gonna be fine. And then when I came back in August to officially move, I brought 5 suitcases because it was my mom, my sister, and I. And we also, again, flew Southwest. And I could bring 6 bags because it was 3 of us, but I only needed 5 because I had brought some stuff down. Like, I brought so much stuff. So that was a total of, like, I had 5 and then I had 4 in June. So that was, like, 9 total suitcases that I brought plus everything in my car. And I didn't have a lick of furniture to bring with me, like nothing. This is all like clothes, jewelry, shoes, like just like stuff. Like you literally have more stuff than you think you have. So just keep that in mind. And I left some stuff back in Chicago. I threw some stuff away. I just had a lot of stuff. I'm a hoarder, so whatever. Just know that you will probably need to figure out, like, if you're gonna fly, how are you gonna get all your stuff there? Like, what's your plan? Try to fly Southwest where the bags are free. Southwest honestly just need to sponsor me at this point because I always fly Southwest because I love the fact that I get free bags. Anyway, okay, the next thing to talk about is your money and your needs. This is the last thing I'm gonna talk about in this video because it's way too long. When you move anywhere, I would say that I wish that I had maybe $5,000 before I moved. And I know that sounds like a big number, but like when you think about everything that you need when you first move, it's a lot. Like you have to pay first month's rent. Depending on when you move in within the month, it's going to depend on how much your first month's rent is. Like I moved in on the 20th, so I only had to pay for like 10 days of the month. But then as soon as the first came, I had to pay a full month's rent. So think about that. You want to have first and second month's rent ready to go so you don't have to worry about it, because you never know, like when you start your job, is everything going to be like, most times when you start your job, if you're on a bi-weekly pay schedule, you're not going to get paid for like 3 weeks sometimes. So just know, like, have as much money as you can. Now, if it doesn't fall out like that and you can't have that much money saved, you're just gonna have to make it work. Like really just plan your budget and just be conscientious of your money before you're going. So yes, like make sure you have first and second month's rent though, for sure. And then you also want to have money for utilities. So when you move into an apartment, you have to pay for electricity and water for sure. I mean, unless your apartment covers it, but I wasn't able to really find any places that cover it. And then you may have to pay for gas. I don't have to pay for gas. And if they don't use gas, like I have like an electric stove, so they may not use gas, and that's just one less bill you have to pay for. So I would have money for that. And then, oh, well, this is something that I would want to know in a video, like if I was watching. Usually it depends on where you live and how much you use, but like as far as electricity, I would estimate anywhere between like $50 to $100 a month if it's just you as like one person, and it depends on the season. So like if it's the summer, it's gonna be more versus like if it's the fall or the winter. Sorry y'all, I have a puppy, so like if you see me turning my head, I'm just looking probably to see what she's doing. So like I would say like between $50 and $100, but that's depending on your personal usage and where you live, so don't take my word for it. And that is something you have to set up on your own. So when you're looking for electricity, just like Google like electricity companies in said town and just go through them, and you can look at the rates and like try to get the rates, and honestly just try to pick the cheapest one. And sometimes they have deals. Like you don't, it's not like phone providers where you want to pick like, oh, I need this provider because they have the best service. It's electricity, it will work, okay? I mean, but obviously look up reviews, make sure you don't go with like some random company that's just gonna take your money, but you can pick the cheapest one. You don't need to have the fancy electricity. It's all the same. You gonna have lights and everything is gonna work fine. So yes. And then water, I think it depends apartment to apartment, but like my apartment, I just pay for my water through them. And usually water is between like, it could be as low as like $1, but like between like $1 and like 15 maybe. I tend to waste water. Like I turn my shower on and I just like lollygag. So I'm becoming more conscientious about it because I know that I'm just like literally letting my money go down the drain. So just be conscientious of like your water usage. And like I've been trying to be more conscious of like stuff like that in general, just because like you just wasting water and some people don't have water. So yes, that type of thing. But like running your washing machine, running your dishwasher, everything uses water. And when you start paying for it, you're like, hold on now. I can only wash once a week. I can't be just throwing stuff in every day. So, yeah, but water is not super expensive though. So I would say anywhere between 1 and 15. And then if you want Wi-Fi, most people will want that. Look for deals. That's probably between 20 and 60. I don't know. I pay 30 for cable and I have Comcast. I mean, not cable, Wi-Fi. I pay $30 for Wi-Fi. I do not have cable. Most people my age do not have cable, because cable is high. And if you have Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, you don't really need it. And if your parents have cable, a little tip for y'all, just log into their account and you can watch it through the app. If they have that, you know, my parents have Comcast, so you could just watch it through the app. So anything I want to watch, I just watch it the day after in the app. So be like me, ball on a budget. Cable is not a necessity. Cable is like $100 and some dollars, $150. I don't know. It's hot. So you do not need cable, okay? You don't need it. But if you want it, if you got it, do you? Send me the login. Okay, last few things. You also want to have some money set aside for personal items. Toiletries. You're going to need tissue. You're going to need paper towels. You're going to need dishes. You're going to need sheets, comforters, pillows, just literally everything. Think about everything you're going to need for your apartment if you don't have it, especially if you're moving like across like a different state. You're going to need to buy those things. Like I'm not toting pillows from Chicago to Houston. I'll just get them when I get there. Think about stuff you're also going to want. Like you need to have it right away. Think about that. Calculate that. And whatever you calculate, always make it more than what you think, because you literally never know. Also groceries. Groceries are expensive. So make sure you have money set aside for that. At least for the first month or two, I would say $100 to $200. for groceries, maybe more depending on what you eat, depending on what you make. If you're trying to eat healthy, $300 because healthy groceries are high. Just keep that in mind and know that like you want to have some money. So that's why I said I would try to have at least $3,000 to $5,000 ready to go. Gas, you're gonna need money for gas. You just literally don't know like what could come up. What if you get a flat tire? That ain't ever happened to me, and I pray that don't happen to y'all. But I'm just saying, just think about what you want to have in advance. I personally did not have a lot of money saved. I was kind of coming out here. Obviously, I was in school. So, and then like I said, I took my boards and then I moved. So like, I wish I would have had more money saved because I kind of had to, the first couple months, I kind of really had to like tough it out and like work it out, do what I need to do. But just try to have as much money as you can lined up before you come. And then the last thing is furniture, because as you see, I am sitting on a bed and I do have a nightstand and I have a couch, you know. Should you wait and buy your furniture when you have the money? Like, should you buy piece by piece? Should you get a credit card and pay, like put everything on there and pay that off? Should you finance your furniture? It's literally a personal preference. What I did was I had planned, because like I said, I like to have everything laid out. I like to have everything ready to go. I don't like doing things piece by piece. If it's happening, it's happening full effect. There's no get this here, no. And my family can attest to this. They know that like this girl has to have everything now. So I personally could not do the piece by piece method. Now, if you can do that because it will probably save you money in the long run. But what I did was I had planned on using a credit card to get all of my furniture and then just pay it off. So what I did was I looked for credit cards that had like 0 interest starting out, and then I could go ahead and just pay it off within a year. But when I started to look for furniture and I started to go to furniture stores, I realized that they had their own financing options that I could finance my furniture through them with 0 interest. So basically, I got all of my furniture with 0 interest for 5 years, and basically I could pay it off as fast as I want to, or I can take the whole 5 years. So like, totally up to you. Like I said, just look into your local like furniture stores, because not every furniture store is everywhere. So think about that. It's honestly like a personal preference. Like I said, most things that I have talked about are personal preference. But if you guys have questions, any more questions about like the whole process of moving, any more tips that I have, leave a comment down below and I will make sure I try to include that in another video. And like I said, my next video that I'm going to drop is going to be my 4-month review, and I'm just going to be talking about my review of Houston in comparison to another big city, which is Chicago. What I like, what I don't like, what I've noticed, what I've learned, all of that is going to be included in that video. But anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this, my very first video. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up if you liked this video. I probably just said this video so many times, but give it a thumbs up anyway. And then make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video. Again, thanks for watching. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I'm so glad you guys are going to be joining me on this journey of me making a YouTube channel, and I really hope you guys enjoy. Bye.